From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aylia Batool. Our top story for today: Israel reportedly is on the verge of launching an attack on Iran, despite US calls for restraint, according to unnamed official sources. The escalation follows Iran's alleged firing of about 180 rockets at Israeli military targets, as retaliation for recent assassinations, including that of Ismail Haniyeh. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant held urgent consultations regarding the planned strike. It may target Iran's oil or nuclear facilities, raising fears of a broader regional conflict. Recognizing the likelihood of an Israeli attack, the US is urging caution regarding the scale and nature of the response. Gallant urged US Secretary of State Antony Blinken to support Israel following an anticipated strike on Iran. New analysis by the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy reveals stark differences between Vice President Kamala Harris and Republican nominee Donald Trump on tax policies. Harris's proposals would raise taxes on the top 1% while cutting them for all other income groups. In contrast, Trump's plan would lower taxes for the wealthiest Americans, increasing economic inequality. Harris aims to support middle and low-income families. Her agenda includes expanding the child tax credit and reforming Medicare taxes for those earning more than $400,000. By 2026, the richest 1% could see an average tax increase of 4.1%. Meanwhile, the poorest 20% would benefit from an average tax cut of $1,130. As the top 1% holds a record of $45 trillion in wealth, the impact of these tax strategies could reshape America's economic future. Patrick Soon-Shiong, billionaire owner of the Los Angeles Times, blocked the newspaper's editorial board from endorsing Kamala Harris for president. This decision led to the resignation of Mariel Garza, a veteran journalist on the board who said, "In dangerous times, honest people need to stand up." Soon-Shiong argued the editorial board should provide a nonpartisan analysis of all candidates, instead of a traditional endorsement. The editorial board was preparing to support Harris, but Soon-Shiong's directive has led to silence on the endorsement front. Critics, including Garza, voiced concerns this non-endorsement undermines the paper's reputation, especially as the Trump campaign seized on the news. The fallout appears to be affecting subscriber numbers, with cancellations reportedly doubling following the controversy. Soon-Shiong, a biotech billionaire, bought the Los Angeles Times in 2018. He pledged to make it one of the bastions of democracy in this country. At the time, his $500 million purchase of the Times and other California papers was an effort to combat fake news, which he called a cancer of our time. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell harshly criticized Donald Trump and the Maga movement. In a new biography, The Price of Power, McConnell says the Republican Party today is nothing like Ronald Reagan's, and that Trump severely has damaged its reputation. McConnell blames Trump for appealing to those who feel left behind, offering excuses for their struggles by claiming the system is rigged. He called Trump's behavior after the 2020 election erratic and said half of Republicans still believe everything Trump says. McConnell also condemned Trump's role in the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack, saying it was as close to an impeachable offense as possible. He criticized Trump as narcissistic, ill-tempered, and not very smart. Despite their differences, McConnell has endorsed Trump for the presidency. However, he noted Trump's attacks on his wife, Elaine Chao, went too far. The mother of 14-year-old Suel Setzer III has filed a civil suit against artificial intelligence chatbot Character.ai in a Florida federal court, alleging negligence and wrongful death following her son's suicide. Megan Garcia claims Setzer became dangerously obsessed with a customizable AI chatbot, which he interacted with obsessively before his death in February. She called for accountability from Character.ai and its parent company, Google. The lawsuit reveals troubling exchanges between Setzer and the chatbot, including discussions about suicide. Character.ai expressed condolences but denies the allegations, asserting a commitment to user safety. Consumer advocates argue tech companies developing AI must be held accountable for their products. They stress the importance of enforcing existing regulations and creating new laws to protect vulnerable users from harmful technologies. The Israel Defense Forces on Wednesday claimed 6 AlJazeera journalists are linked to militant groups, including Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. The IDF asserts intelligence gathered during its invasion of Gaza proves the journalists act as military terrorist operatives. These journalists are Anas al-Sharif, Ala Salama, Hossam Shabat, Ashraf Saraj, Ismail Abu Amr, and Talal Aruki. This assertion has drawn backlash from seasoned observers of Israeli disinformation campaigns. Critics, including U.S. investigative journalist Jeremy Shahil, argue the claims serve as a pretext to justify violence against journalists who expose alleged Israeli war crimes. AlJazeera condemned the allegations in a strongly worded statement and called it part of Israel's wider pattern of hostility toward the media organization. The Qatari media outlet said the Israeli claims follow a recent expose by AlJazeera on potential war crimes committed by Israeli forces during the Gaza war. The network asserts its journalists merely are fulfilling their professional duties, documenting and reporting on the devastating impact of the war. Moreover, the Committee to Protect Journalists highlights a disturbing trend, noting at least 128 media professionals have been killed in Gaza by Israel. It underscores a chilling pattern of targeting media personnel amid escalating tensions, prompting calls from U.S. lawmakers for accountability and protection of journalistic integrity in war zones. UK Parliament set to debate recognition of a Palestinian state. Details come after the break. Stay tuned and we will be right back. A bill to formally recognize the State of Palestine has been introduced in the UK Parliament by independent MP Shaukat Adam. It has the potential to reshape British foreign policy and is scheduled for debate on November 29th. The bill has gained significant cross-party backing, including support from former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn and several independent MPs elected on pro-Palestine platforms. Adam highlighted the urgency of the situation, saying British recognition would reinforce Palestinians' right to self-determination amid ongoing Israeli actions seemingly undermining Palestinian statehood. He urged the public to lobby their MPs in support of the bill. The Labour Party's stance, led by Sir Keir Starmer, will be pivotal given its parliamentary majority. If passed, the UK would join 146 other UN members in recognizing Palestine. It will mark a significant step toward a two-state solution amid growing international pressure for such recognition. The Palestinian Media Office reports more than 770 Palestinians have been killed and 1,000 injured in the Israeli military assault on Jabalia in northern Gaza, as the siege continues into its 21st day. On Wednesday, fresh airstrikes killed at least 11 people, including 6 in Jabalia and several more near a school sheltering displaced civilians in Gaza City. The conflict's toll extends beyond Gaza. An 11-year-old Palestinian boy was killed in the West Bank, marking 165 child fatalities in the region over the past year. Meanwhile, in Lebanon, at least one person was killed in overnight strikes by Israel, which hit multiple locations in Beirut's suburbs. Israel's attacks leveled 6 buildings in Beirut's southern suburb of Laylaki. AlJazeera's correspondents in Beirut describe it as a very violent night of strikes that began without warning. Since October 8th, the death toll in Lebanon has reached 2,574, with more than 12,000 injured. The Israeli military reported injuries to 22 soldiers in Gaza over the past 24 hours. According to Israeli army figures, at least 752 soldiers have been killed and 5,056 others injured since Israel launched attacks on Gaza on October 7, 2023. In Gaza, at least 42,792 people have been killed and 100,412 wounded in Israeli attacks since last October. Israel faces a genocide case at the International Court of Justice for its actions in Gaza. An elementary school in Montreal's Côte de Neige neighborhood is under fire following the suspension of 11 teachers accused of fostering a toxic environment. The allegations, dating back to 2016, are detailed in a 90-page government report. They include claims of humiliating punishments and discriminatory practices against students, particularly with those with learning disabilities. The Education Ministry's investigation, prompted by extensive coverage from 98.5 FM, concluded these teachers' actions created a harmful atmosphere for students. The fallout has sparked broader discussions about the influence of religion in public institutions, especially concerning Quebec's secularism law, Bill 21. The report gathered testimony from people who say certain subjects like sex education and science are either not taught or sparingly taught to students. The ministry's report says there were tensions with members of a nearby community center that mainly serves people of Arab origin and had a strong influence on school staff. On Tuesday, Quebec Premier François Legault took to X to denounce the situation, describing the suspended teachers as attempting to introduce Islamic religious concepts in a public school. Turkey's state-run Turkish aerospace industries came under an attack on Wednesday, leaving at least 5 people dead and 22 injured. The assault unfolded around 4 p.m. local time at the headquarters in Kahramanmaraş. Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya confirmed the terrorist attack, which involved gunfire and explosions. Eyewitnesses reported the attackers appeared to know the facility's layout. Security footage shows both male and female assailants. Turkish National Defense Minister Yasir Güler accused the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party for the attack. Speculations are rife that PKK is sending a defiant message against peace negotiations between Kurdish separatist groups and the Turkish government. Among those killed was mechanical engineer Zahid Guklu, who had just arrived to greet her husband's floral surprise. Security forces remain on high alert as investigations are underway to uncover the full scope of the attack. World leaders, including NATO's Secretary General, have condemned the attack, underscoring its implications for Turkey's national security. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping engaged in their first formal discussion in 5 years at the BRICS summit in Kazan, Russia. The meeting follows a newly reached agreement aimed at resolving a prolonged military standoff along the contentious Himalayan border. In 2020, the armies of both nuclear neighbors clashed in the mountains, killing 20 Indian and 4 Chinese soldiers. During their handshake, the leaders underscored the significance of addressing their disputes constructively. Xi emphasized the need for cooperation to enhance development aspirations and stresses the two countries' role in promoting global stability and multipolarity. India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri reiterated that amicable relations between the world's 2 largest nations are crucial for regional and global peace. A pact agreed to this week related to military patrols along the frontier. After a series of strained interactions, including Xi's absence at last month's G20 summit, the meeting signals a hopeful shift. Both nations are seeking to strengthen ties and navigate ongoing border tensions collaboratively. China claims India's eastern state of Arunachal Pradesh in its entirety since the two countries fought a border war in 1962. It considers it part of its Tibet region. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum.